All right, so today I have my very first ball python eggs hatching of 2020 for my very first clutch. It is pretty exciting. As a matter of fact, I've been waiting for these eggs to hatch for about 2 months. It takes almost 60 days for these eggs to hatch. And the eggs are actually a lot different than chicken eggs. If you look at a ball python egg, it has a really soft, leathery shell. And right before they hatch, usually a few days, the little baby snake inside the egg, essentially what it does is it has a little tooth, an egg tooth, and it makes slits in the soft shell on the egg. And before I actually cut the eggs, I like to wait until at least half the eggs have the little cuts from the egg tooth. That's pretty much what I consider to be kind of the safest time to cut the eggs. And essentially what you're doing is you're just looking inside and kind of seeing your results. You can actually wait until they come out on their own. There's no harm in that. But sometimes you get a little impatient and you just want, like you've been waiting for 2 months, and you just want to peek inside to hopefully we can actually see the results of the pairing. And the pairing on this one was actually my pastel calico female with the pastel and the calico gene, and then I crossed that with my male that was it actually has Enchi in it. I proved out Enchi. Didn't even know I had Enchi in that male. It's an Enchi pastel desert ghost, a visual desert ghost, which is pretty awesome. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the parents and show you both parents, and then we'll get into the egg cutting and kind of peek inside and see what the results are from this breeding. All right, so I actually have the male up here in this ARS 5040 rack. This is a pastel desert ghost male from 2016, so he's actually 4 years old. He is a beautiful male. Take a look at this beauty. That is absolutely stunning. And when you mix pastel with desert ghost, you actually get a snake that really holds a lot of its bright yellow as an adult. It's really awesome. And the desert ghost is really kind of, it's actually a really reduced pattern. So a lot of times you really can't tell if Enchi is in the mix. As a matter of fact, when I bought it, they didn't sell it to me as an Enchi, but then I bred it out and I actually produced a pinstripe with Enchi and a lemon blast that was really super reduced, proving out the Enchi in the snake. It is a really amazing snake. If you actually take a look at the head and kind of the belly, we can kind of flip him over a little bit. Take a look at how beautiful he is. He is a really awesome snake. He has a really cool head stamp. Take a look at his head. He is really fantastic. All right, my female lives down here in a bigger tub. She's got a really big tub because she's a really big snake. As a matter of fact, this one is 7 years old. She is a really good looking snake. Take a look at this. I actually bought her as an adult over on Morphmarket, and I actually produced one. My first year, I actually produced some bamboo calicos, which are really amazing. And then this year, I kind of switched it up with my desert ghost. And then next year, I think I'm going to do something else. You know, with the females and the males, you can always switch up the breeding every single year, so you're not always stuck with the same pair. She's a really good looking snake. All right, so here are the eggs from my incubator after sitting in there for 2 full months. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the date on the eggs. This is actually day 58, and they usually come out about 60 days. Of course, I'm up here at a higher altitude. I think that delays the hatching a little bit. And then I actually use just regular scissors. You can use, some people use small scissors. Some people use a razor blade and cut them, and that freaks me out. I would rather use like a big, really dull scissors so you have no, chance of actually poking something or cutting anything. And then of course you need some paper towels because this can get really super messy. And this particular clutch of eggs actually came from my egg bound female. She was egg bound for with quite a few eggs, as a matter of fact. So I actually got 6 good eggs out of this, and I was actually looking at these eggs and it looks like 2 of them are really dented in like this. I'm not exactly sure if why those 2 are kind of dented in, but usually if you don't have enough humidity in the box, sometimes they'll do that and they'll just kind of shrink down, and usually those eggs won't hatch. So I'm thinking maybe we'll get 4 snakes out of this. If we're lucky, we may get 5 or 6, but I don't have much hope for these 2 eggs. And she actually laid a 10-egg clutch. 4 of them were egg bound, and none of those egg bound eggs actually survived. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start. It looks like we got the 3 of them that are cut open. Take a look at this. So this is what you want to see right here. This little tiny cut right in the egg. Right there you can see it, just a tiny little cut, and that is from the baby snake just making a little tiny cut right in the egg right there. So I'm just going to start with this one. I know for sure that there is a baby snake in this one, and I know that was alive long enough to actually make that little egg cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put down a little paper towel. And then let's see, I think I'll zoom in a little bit so we can get kind of a better view of this. And we'll just take a little tiny snip with the scissors. And essentially what I do is I just kind of cut it open just to see inside, to see what they're. So the jeans in this one, we could get pastels, we could get super pastels, we could get super pastel calico, and then there's Enchi in there too. So we could get a super pastel calico Enchi, and then they're all going to be 100% het for Desert Ghost with one copy of the Desert Ghost. So it won't look like the male, the really visually stunning male, because you actually need 2 copies of the Desert Ghost to actually get that. So what I'm really hoping for is I'm actually hoping for a super pastel Enchi calico female that I can actually hold back. That's kind of the goal of this, so I can actually work those jeans into my Desert Ghost project, which would be kind of cool. And I only have the 2 Desert Ghosts, and if you actually get ooh, this is, it looks like this at least has pastel in the mix. That looks, this might be the one here, actually. That looks kind of interesting. It looks like a really reduced, maybe a super pastel. Maybe a super pastel Enchi. Maybe. That looks really interesting. You can see his little nose just sticking out right there. Take a look at that. That is kind of cute. You can see his head. You really don't want him to come out. That looks like a super pastel to me. It's kind of hard to tell with the super pastel if it actually has Enchi in it, and I really can't see the Desert Ghost. So I'm thinking super pastel, maybe super pastel Enchi. And I'm just going to kind of close them up. I just wanted to peek in just to kind of see. That is pretty exciting. And you know, the other option we could actually get a normal 100% het Desert Ghost too. So there's a possibility that we could get normals out of this, which I'm not really looking forward to getting a normal, but you never know. It's a possibility. With my luck last year I got so many normals, it was unbelievable. So I'm going to cut the second egg and take a look at this one. And speaking of normals, this one almost looks like it could be a normal. Speaking of normals, I don't know. This actually, the pattern is really reduced. I'm seeing a little bit of yellow in the head. It almost looks like this one could be a pastel Enchi. That's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a pastel based, I don't know. Sometimes the normals can kind of have a little yellow in the head. It might just be an Enchi. I think that one is just an Enchi, a really reduced pattern. So this will be an Enchi 100% het Desert Ghost. And then the other one, a super pastel, maybe Enchi. Now, I'm not sure if there's calico. It didn't look like there was calico on the other one. So let's take a look at this one. Ooh, wow, this one looks like it has something in it here. I'm thinking this one. Take a look at that. What do you think that is? Sometimes it's hard to tell just by peeking in the egg. Sometimes it's really hard. And I'm thinking this one could be a pastel. So in the super pastel, the top of the head was really super light. That you can tell it's a super pastel. And this one, it looks like the head is not as light. It doesn't look like it has a really white head, but it looks like there might be some color in the sides. I'm thinking this one is a pastel. And it looks like the pattern is really reduced as well. Sometimes the pastels can be reduced. This could be a pastel Enchi in this one. That's what I'm guessing. And it's really hard until they actually come all the way out and you can actually see them. So I'm gonna actually work on some of these eggs that are kind of on the border. I'm not sure if any of these are actually going to be good or not. This one probably has some, I don't know, this is kind of the middle of the road one. I'm just going to kind of cut it open and peek inside. And sometimes these can be really bad if they don't develop and kind of go bad on the inside. You never know if you're going to get a snake out of these or not. So let me see if I can see anything in here. And I do see a snake. I do see a snake. It looks like, boy, it is hard to tell on this one. This one looks like, boy. That is always the question. Wow, that one looks, I don't know, take a look at that one if you can see inside of there. See if I can adjust the light a little better for you. It's always really super hard to tell in these snakes exactly what you have in there. So it looks like it is really light. It looks like it's super light in there. I'm thinking this one might be the one I'm actually shooting for. It looks like it's really super light and it's super reduced. This could be the Super Pastel Calico Enchi. That's kind of what I'm thinking this one might be. So this might be the one that we're actually shooting for. It's really hard to tell in there. It's so hard. And then, so that's actually 4 good snakes, which is really awesome. And then we'll take a look at this one. So this is number 5, and then the last one, I'm not sure if that one's gonna be good. I'm kind of saving the worst for last in this case, so we'll see that one. So I'll take a look at this one. I can almost guarantee there's something in this one. I'm at least hoping there's something in this one. Wow, this one's crazy looking. That is kind of crazy. I'm actually gonna open this up a little bit more. Wow, that is a really super crazy pattern. Take a look at that one. I don't know if you can see that. That is kind of a crazy looking pattern on that one. I think there's Super Pastel on that one because it's really jumbled up. It's really super light too, which is pretty amazing. I'm not sure exactly what's in that one. I'm thinking maybe a Super Pastel. I don't think it has Enchi because I don't think it's reduced enough. Maybe a Super Pastel Calico on that one. So that is pretty awesome. So we'll take a look at this one last one over here. Take a look at that one. I don't think that one's gonna hatch. I don't think there's gonna be a good snake in there, but you never know. Look at all the mold on the side and everything. And I've actually had snakes come out of eggs like this, which is pretty amazing. Sometimes you can have pretty rough looking eggs and the snakes are actually still viable inside, which is really crazy. So I'm just gonna kind of peek inside to see what we get. I don't know if anything's gonna be good in this. Wow, we actually got a snake in this one. Take a look at that. Wow, this one's got some crazy pattern too. This one is really crazy. Wow. That is, I have no idea what this is. Wow, take a look at that. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. That is crazy. What is that? It almost looks like I have no idea what that is. That is really crazy. Like it almost looks like checkered or something. And it's kind of a, well, I don't know. I don't even know what to guess on that one. I'm thinking, I'm starting to wonder if maybe that, maybe the female is het for desert ghost. This almost looks like a visual desert ghost. Take a look at that again. I don't know if you can see that, but that is really crazy. It almost looks like a visual desert ghost, which would be pretty awesome if I actually hit it. That is pretty exciting. Actually, I did not expect to get 6 good eggs out of those. That is amazing. All right, so there you have it. That was a pretty incredible clutch. I can't believe that I actually got 6 hatchlings out of that, especially on that last egg. That really blows me away that that thing was actually viable. And the crazy pattern on that, you know, it's pretty much still a mystery. We really don't know what those snakes look like until they finally come out of the egg. And pretty much what I do from here is I'll leave them in the incubator for probably like 2 or 3 days until all the hatchlings completely come out of the eggs. And then what I'll do is I'll actually make another video and we'll go through each hatchling one by one and look at it in detail and kind of figure out what the genes are in the mix. That's kind of the hardest part, trying to figure out exactly what genes are in each snake. And sometimes if you line them up and put them side by side, sometimes it's pretty obvious. And then what I do is I usually, you know, after they're in the hatchling rack for a while, I'll feed them for usually 5 or 6 weeks until they get, you know, enough meals in them. And then I'll go through and probe them with the probe, figure out the males and the females. And then once they hit about 6 meals, then they'll be ready to put up on Morphmarket. it, and I'll be able to sell my very first hatchlings from 2020. So I wanted to leave you with one more thing. I actually started hatching out some chickens and some ducks if you've been following my videos. And I actually just hatched out some black Australorp chickens. And it's pretty amazing. I actually put 19 eggs in my incubator and I ended up with 17 baby chicks. I can't believe I got so many chickens to hatch. Usually you have about a 50% hatch rate, and this one was almost 100%. Pretty crazy. Now let me tell you, those chicks are so cute. I took a little video and I wanted to throw it right at the end of this one. Pretty awesome. So that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. All right, take a look at this. Day number 2. I brought them out here in a basket. Look at how cute these guys are. Super cute. 17 chicks in a basket. That is pretty amazing.